The IR35 rules are designed to ensure that individuals who work like employees but through their own limited company or other intermediary pay the same taxes as direct employees. These rules have been in place since 2000, but they have been subject to widespread non-compliance and tax avoidance by some contractors and intermediaries. To tackle this issue, HMRC launched the IR35 compliance campaign in 2017, starting with the public sector. The campaign aimed to shift the responsibility for determining the employment status of contractors from their own companies to the client organizations that engage them. This meant that if a contractor was deemed to be inside IR35, the client organization or the agency that paid them had to deduct income tax and national insurance contributions from their fees. The campaign also involved a range of education and support activities to help organizations and contractors understand and apply the rules correctly. For example, HMRC published detailed guidance, webinars, case studies, and a tool called Check Employment Status for Tax (CST) to help with status determinations. The campaign had a significant impact on the public sector, as many contractors were found to be inside IR35 and had to pay more taxes. Some contractors left the public sector or increased their rates, while others accepted the new arrangements. HMRC claimed that the campaign increased compliance and raised additional revenue for public services. In 2021, HMRC extended the IR35 compliance campaign to the private sector, affecting medium and large-sized organizations outside the public sector. The changes applied to all payments made on or after April 6, 2021, for all services provided on or after that date. Small non-public sector organizations were not affected by the changes, and the contractor's company remained responsible for determining their status. HMRC adopted a similar approach to supporting and enforcing compliance in the private sector as it did in the public sector. It promised to take a light-touch approach to penalties in the first 12 months, unless there was evidence of deliberate non-compliance. It also committed not to use information acquired as a result of the changes to open new inquiries into past returns, unless there was reason to suspect fraud or criminal behavior. The IR35 compliance campaign has been one of the most controversial and challenging reforms in the UK tax system. It has faced criticism from contractors, businesses, professional bodies, and MPs for being unfair, complex, and damaging to the flexible workforce. However, HMRC has defended the campaign as necessary to ensure fairness and integrity in the tax system and to protect public finances. The IR35 rules were introduced in 2000 to prevent self-employed workers from avoiding tax and national insurance contributions by working through a personal service company, PSC. However, HMRC found it difficult to enforce the rules and estimated that only 10% of PSCs that should apply the rules did so correctly. This resulted in a tax loss of £1.3 billion in 2018-19. To address this issue, HMRC reformed the IR35 rules for public sector contracts in 2017, shifting the responsibility for determining the tax status of PSCs from the workers themselves to the public bodies that engage them. The reforms were expected to increase tax revenues by £410 million in 2019-20 and improve compliance with the rules. However, HMRC faced several challenges and controversies during the 18-month investigation into the implementation of the IR35 reforms in the public sector. Some of these were providing clear and timely guidance and support to public bodies and workers on how to apply the new rules. HMRC developed an online tool called Check Employment Status for Tax (CST) to help public bodies determine the tax status of PSCs, but some stakeholders criticized it for being inaccurate, unreliable, and biased towards employment outcomes. HMRC also faced difficulties in communicating the changes to public bodies and workers, especially those in devolved administrations and smaller organizations. Monitoring and evaluating the impact of the reforms on public bodies, workers, and tax revenues. HMRC collected data from public bodies on their compliance with the rules, but it did not have a robust baseline to measure the changes in tax status, income, and behavior of PSCs. HMRC also did not assess the wider effects of the reforms on public service delivery, workforce planning and recruitment. Dealing with disputes and non-compliance cases involving public bodies and workers. Some workers disagreed with their tax status determinations made by public bodies or HMRC and challenged them through various channels, such as complaints, appeals and judicial reviews. However, they did not have a clear legal route to appeal the determinations or access to an independent arbiter. HMRC also identified cases where public bodies failed to apply the rules correctly or deliberately avoided them, resulting in additional tax liabilities of £263 million across government departments and agencies in 2020-21. Adapting the implementation of the reforms to the private and third sectors in 2021. HMRC learned some lessons from the public sector experience and made some improvements to its guidance, tools and support for affected organizations and workers. However, it also faced new and challenging risks due to the inherent differences between the public and private sectors, such as the diversity and complexity of contractual arrangements, the lack of visibility and control over supply chains, and the potential for market distortions and unfair competition.